Spokey here from Gigi's Fabric Shop and home of Juki Junkies, and I am in the storefront store today. So it's super pretty, super quiet, everything's a little echoey in here. But we wanted to make this video. We're going to talk about the most commonly sold accessories for our bag makers. So this is going to apply to the TL models out there, the TL 18, 2020, 2010, 2000, all that good stuff. So these are the most commonly purchased, most frequently asked about accessories that you can apply if you are a bag maker. So let's hop into the accessories first. Okay, so let's start. We have all these awesome goodies that are the most commonly purchased with this machine. So we have some needles, I'll go in depth on those. All the accessories that are really frequent. These are gonna ring a bell because if you've watched our other videos, we've talked about them. And then we have some thread recommendations. So we'll hop into it. I have a nice, beautiful, pliable, real leather, believe it or not. This is a genuine leather, but it's really nice and pliable. So I'm gonna demo this. And yeah, let's just kind of break it down. We're gonna start with the accessories, like I said, first. So let's jump into the smooth presser foot, okay? Actually, I'm gonna do the thick throw plate first. All right, so we're gonna start off with the thick throw plate. The thick throw plate is definitely a good place to start when purchasing accessories if you are a bag maker. The thick throw plate has a larger opening for the needle. So when you're working on those big bulky projects, you know, you're probably using a stronger needle, you're using stronger threads, and you have a lot of bulk, right? So that makes there more clearance for the needle to go down into the machine, gives you a larger flex, so you avoid hitting the needle plate and potentially throwing your machine out of timing, breaking needles, because it's not fun when that happens. More minor things are like when you nick the needle plate and there's little burrs around the opening of the eye, opening of the needle plate. And that down the road can cause issues like tension issues, catching of the thread. It's not a good time. It could shred your thread too. So if you're experiencing problems like that, you might want to double check the needle plate to see if there's little burrs around that because it could be causing issues. So it comes in a little baggy like this. This is the thick throw plate. There is actually a thin throw plate on the website too if you are on the opposite spectrum of this video. If you are a garment maker, work with really fine fabrics, that's an option out there for you as well. Next accessory we're going to talk about is the hinged zipper feet. All right, so next up we're going to talk about the hinged zipper feet. There's two options available for you on the website, and one of the most frequently asked questions I get is what's the difference between the two. So I'm going to stitch it out to show you just how close they get, but let's break it down. So you have the 2.5 millimeter, which is the newer one. It's around $80, I believe, on the website. That one is a little bit more expensive because it gets even more close to the edge of the fabric. It gets about 1/16 to the edge, so extremely close, really nice for doing that zipper, you know, getting really close, or if you're finishing something, getting really close to the edge, this is going to be a very helpful tool for you. Next up, you have the 3 millimeter. The 3 millimeter is going to give you more of an 1/8 inch seam allowance. This one's super versatile because it's going to be really perfect for achieving a nice top stitch. It's going to be really good for getting close to your zipper. It's a little bit more versatile than the other one. The 2.5 millimeter is a little bit more restricted because most people don't top stitch at 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to stitch this out for you just to show you how close you get to the edge so you can kind of compare them and figure out what you need for your needs, okay? We're going to start off with the most common, the hinged zipper foot 3 millimeter. I just have to remember which one's which because I always get the two swapped. So the 3 millimeter is the one that's going to give you like 1/8 of an inch. That's the most commonly sold one, the most versatile. Also, this one's really good for machine binding because it gets really close to that edge. So here I'm just gonna do a little stitch, follow the edge of my fabric to kind of show you how close we get to the edge of the fabric. Okay, and try to stay as straight as possible so I show you the most accurate. Okay, so there you go. There you see it. Wow, the stitches look so beautiful. Look how close that is to the edge of the fabric. Really close. So this is going to be the hinged zipper foot 3 millimeter. The hinged zipper foot 3 millimeter. Sorry guys, it's like a tongue twister. This is the one that gives you the 1/8 of an inch. So now I'm going to demo the hinged zipper foot 2.5 millimeter, and that one's going to get even closer than this one. So I'm going to go switch it out. So I'm going to try to sew really close to this to kind of show you how it's smaller than the one that we just did, the 2 millimeter, the 3 millimeter, I'm sorry. This is the 2.5, okay? So I'm going to drop this down, follow the edge. I'm going to try to get as straight as possible to show you just how much closer it gets. Follow that edge of that foot. Okay, so there you have it. It's even closer. And this is the hinged zipper foot 2.5 millimeter. The one that's farther is the one that we just did. That's the 3 millimeter, okay? So just based on your preference, and this does make a difference. I'm gonna stitch out another one here so you have another good view, okay? Following the edge of that fabric, All right, and you can see that gets even closer. So, you know, if this is what you're trying to achieve in your top stitching and in your bags, definitely do this. If you like the idea of having that 1/8, definitely go for the hinged zipper foot 3mm. This is the 2.5, the 2.5, okay? Next up, we're gonna do the smooth presser foot, and it's perfect because I'm working with some coated materials. So let me show you how that works on something like this. Here we have that smooth presser foot. This is made out of a kind of like a non-stick coating, kind of like you see when you're cooking and you get like a non-stick pots and pans, kind of like the same ordeal. So this helps not stick to your coated materials like waxed canvas, leather, vinyl, things of that nature. So it doesn't stick to it. The metal presser feet tend to stick. So this is just gonna help feed that material through so much better. I'm actually gonna fold this over because I'm gonna do 2 demonstrations here. Here's the first one. So here it is. We're gonna stitch it out. It's gonna help feed that material a lot smoother, okay? And voila, no hesitation, no warping. It's just perfect, and it's providing the most gorgeous little stitch quality here. It looks amazing. So this is gonna be a must-have for any of you who are working with your coated materials, even waxed canvas. This is a good one to invest in. What we're gonna do is the compensating 1/4 inch foot. A lot of bags get constructed with a 1/4 inch, so you wanna have something that's nice and helps you feed that material through. So this is gonna be a great option for a lot of you TL users out there. This foot does come with the TL18 and the 2020, so everyone else is an optional accessory for you. But this is awesome because your fabric is gonna sit right inside of this little guide, okay? And there's a groove right here designed to help feed through that material, okay? The nice thing about this too is that it has a spring loaded back here, so it's gonna move with your thicknesses. It's gonna help feed, provide pressure, and just, you know, do what it has to do to get those thick layers through, right? So this is a great option for my bag makers out there because you're working with that bulk. Be mindful to not use this when you're working with thin layers because since it's applying that pressure, you're gonna get inconsistent stitching on just 2 or 3 layers of fabric, okay? So this is only for your bulky projects, and I'll demonstrate here. Okay, let's just put this guy on. You definitely wanna make sure you tighten this up with a screw, as tight as you can. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it right along that guide, okay, and have it help me feed through so I get an accurate 1/4 inch all the way through. You see how simple that is? All right, we're gonna cut, and voila. It helps me get a really nice 1/4 inch, and you can see that the stitch quality is still looking scrumptious. So this is definitely the best 1/4 inch foot to use for bag makers. So we wanna talk about what kind of thread you should be using on your machine. We swear by the Glide. So the Glide 40 is a good option for you. It's what I have on the machine right now. This is in my favorite color, warm gray 4. This is a 40 weight polyester thread. It is nice and durable. It sheds, like doesn't shed at all. It's virtually lint free. And it's a little bit stronger than cotton because it's poly and it's a little bit thicker than most traditional cotton threads out there. So this is a great option for top stitching, for assembling your bags. It's really, really nice and professional. And I promise you, your Juki will absolutely love it. Along with that, we do have pre-wound bobbins available in select colors. They don't have it in all of the colors, but we have the whole selection of what's available to you. These are the magnet centers. So there is a little magnet right there, so it snaps into your machine, okay? These are available on our Juki Junkies website. David is gonna put the description, and in the description, he's gonna put the links for all these goodies that we're talking about today so you can get them for yourself. Another good option that you should know too is we sell a nylon bond thread. So it's like an industrial style thread made for that high intensity. It has a good thickness to it. You can kind of see it here a little bit. Capture it a little bit on the machine. Here, I'll put it on the white so you can kind of see. This is a nice thick thread, okay? So this is the thickest thread you can put on this machine. It's Tech 70, all right? So that's the thickest you can do on this machine. We do have a video on how to use industrial threads and the do's and don'ts on that. We'll put that in the description as well for you guys so you can watch it. When you're working with industrial threads, you wanna make sure you're using like a 16 or a 18 size needle, which is the maximum size needle you can use on these machines, which is pretty cool because on most conventional machines you can only use a 16. So next I'm going to dive into what kind of needles you should be purchasing on this machine, how to make your sewing experience easier for my bag makers out there. This industrial thread is going to take that top stitching to the next level, okay? Wouldn't recommend constructing this because it's a very thick thread. You want to probably use something nice and thinner, a little bit thinner like this and durable because it'll hold everything in place, won't make your seams too bulky. but top stitching in this is a must-have. It's really gonna take it to a professional, commercial kind of level. Right, so let's talk about what needles you should be purchasing for your machine. So the TL machines just use regular home sewing needles, nothing crazy to them. They do go in a little funny. The flat side goes into the right side, which we also have a video on that if you are interested in making sure you're doing everything correctly. I'm gonna be using this little pocketbook to best describe how these needles are cut and why that they make sense for the projects that you're using them for. This book is actually available on Schmetz's website. They have like a book, like a PDF on their website that'll help you about this. I highly encourage you to look up on it because you'll learn so much more about needles, and it's just so crazy. There's so much more to needles than we think. So a great option to start with is going to be something like a microtex needle. So on our website on Juki Junkies, we carry all the Schmetz needles, the chrome, and other options like these. There's also vinyl needles and leather needles that we sell on the website, but we're going to start with the microtex needles. So these are extremely sharp needles used for things like polyester, silk foils, artificial leathers, and coated materials. It has a very thin acute point that creates beautiful top stitching for perfectly straight stitches. So since it's very, very sharp, it's gonna puncture that fabric perfectly so that the thread fills that hole. And it has a larger scarf as well. So that's gonna help in coordinates with your bobbin. So it's making a larger loop, and that way you don't have skipped stitches. So keep that in mind because this is a great needle. If you're experiencing some skipped stitches, you might want to consider trying the microtex or going up in size, okay? These are available all the way from, I think, 70-10. 70-10 on our website all the way up to 90-14. I would highly encourage 90-14 for my bag makers out there. Unless you're working with something really fine, you could probably get away with an 80-12, all right? Next up, we have the jeans needles, okay? Jeans needles are going to be great for my people that are working with waxed canvas, okay? This is awesome for penetrating those thick woven fabrics, denims, or quilts, okay? With minimum needle deflection, reduced risk of needle breakage, and skipped stitches. So this is really, really nice. The denim needle is going to be durable. It's a strong needle. So this is great for cotton canvas, cotton bags, maybe you're working on the linings of your bags, fixing your jeans, just anything along those lines. This is something to definitely consider. Lots of sizes in this as well on the website, okay? Next up, we're gonna do the vinyl needles. Let me find the little page where it talks about the cuts because I'm just so interested at the, oh, I could have also brought the top stitch needles. We have those on the website too, but here are the leather needles, all right? Leather needles, we have them in the 18, so the 110 by 18, and we also have them in the 116. So just depending on how heavy duty your project is, and if you're working with that industrial style thread, you might want to consider doing the 18 route, okay? Because that thread is thick. Also be mindful to not use your thread cutter, and your needle threader might not work when you're working with industrial thread, so just keep that in the back of your head. But these are awesome. So leather needles are used for leather and artificial leathers and heavy non-woven synthetic kinds of fabrics. They have a really cutting designed needle point, so they're cutting the fabric instead of just penetrating it. Kind of like same idea with like a ballpoint needle. Instead of cutting through the weave, it kind of like goes through them, you know what I mean? So that's what these are designed for. They kind of have like a diamond cut to them. So do not use on knits or woven fabrics. It's not meant for that, okay? So these are just for your kind of coated leathery vinyl-y materials. And then last one of the day is vinyl needles. So these are pretty cool. These are like non-stick needles. They kind of look like they're almost like they're rusted. They're like brown, okay? So they're made out of a non-stick material. All right, so these are super non-stick needles for vinyl and adhesive backed fabrics. Non-stick surface reduces sticky needles and when working with fusibles, like in applique projects or anything like that. But this is great because it just helps not stick to that fabric. So this is a great option. The cool thing about this little pack is you get a little bit of everything. So 70-10, 80-12, 80-12, and then 190-14 and an 100 by 16. So a great little pack for versatile kinds of sewing, all right? So these are some awesome needles to keep. I always recommend having universal needles in your stash too. They're always a good backup in case if you're out of something super specific like this. So definitely check out the needles on the website and Schmetz for this awesome little book, because I promise you, even I always refer to this book. It's just nice to know the logistics about needles, okay? So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I thought this would be really good for my bag makers out there. Check out the description for all the links to things. Make sure you subscribe to our channel since we try to post every Sunday. We are trying to be on it for you guys, okay? And then make sure you guys check out our other platforms. We have our app, which is free for Android and Apple users. It's just Gigi's Fabric Shop. We have tons of fun live shows, little tutorials. We sew together, laugh together. It's a fun time. So check that out. And if you want to reach us to make sure you're purchasing the right thing, or maybe you're inquiring about a machine, you can call us at 813-661-9000 or send us an email at sewingmachines411@gmail.com, and we'd love to help you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Guys, here is a quick picture of our card. You can give that number right there a phone call for any questions on machines, and then you can always call this. This is our brick and mortar store if you have any other questions, whether it's machines or parts as well. So we have 2 phone numbers. And of course, got to finish off by showing you guys all this amazing glide. You could shop at JukiJunkies.com. Hope you guys enjoy and have a great day.